Former President Robert Mugabe is reported to have offered to trade his wife, former First Lady, Grace Mugabe, in order to retain power. According to South Africa publication, The Mail. Guardian, Mugabe offered to send Grace outside Zimbabwe so that she could live out her days in exile. In exchange, Mugabe would remain as president. Mugabe is reported to have made the offer to President-designate Emmerson Mnangagwa over the phone as part of the negotiations for him to step down. However, Mnangagwa is reported to have insisted that Mugabe should honor his word, as he had previously claimed that he would only leave power if the people asked him to do so. This was after the Saturday solidarity marches when thousands of Zimbabwe marched for Mugabe to step down and to show support for the Zimbabwe Defence Forces military takeover. A source who spoke to the Mail Guardian said Ed told him that he should look around him, that he always said he would leave when the people no longer loved him. Saturday showed him that the people no longer loved him. Mugabe spent his last moments as president on November the 21st before and after being pressured to resign at 1:30 p.m. at his Borodale mansion in Harare, surrounded by close family, friends and members of negotiating team which was engaged in talks between him and the military. Mugabe agreed to step down after negotiations with the Zimbabwe Defence Forces ZDF, which were mediated by Roman Catholic priest Father Fidelis Makonori, among other people. As part of the deal to step down, Mugabe was granted immunity for any crimes that he may have been committed while he was in office. Mugabe was also guaranteed that his family would be allowed to retain all its assets. Mugabe said that he wants to die in Zimbabwe, and that he does not wish to go into exile. Another ZANU-PF source told the Mail Guardian if it was not for Grace Mugabe, Robert Mugabe would be in power today. It is that simple. Everyone in ZANU-PF has respect for our statesman. We were willing to allow him to finish his term as first secretary and leader of the party, but to allow his wife to insult senior members of the party, insult cabinet members. Mnangagwa will be sworn in today as Zimbabwe's second executive president since independence in 1980. More Mail Guardian. Grace Mugabe. Zimbabwe Defence Forces. Robert Mugabe. Grace Nt Ombizodwa Mugabe Namarufu is the Zimbabwean First Lady, wife to President Robert Mugabe of the ruling party, the Zimbabwe African National Union Patriotic Front ZANU-PF. She is also the secretary of the ZANU-PF Women's League after her nomination and subsequent election in. Read more about Grace Mugabe. Zimbabwe Defence Forces is the grouping of security forces in the Republic of Zimbabwe under which the Zimbabwe National Army ZNA and Air Force of Zimbabwe AFZ fall. The Commander-in-Chief of ZDF is the President of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, and Commander is. Read more about Zimbabwe Defence Forces. Robert Mugabe is the former President of Zimbabwe. He was the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe from 1987 to November 2017. Prior to this, he was the Prime Minister of Zimbabwe since the attainment of independence in 1980. Mugabe resigned from his presidency on. Read more about Robert Mugabe.